My experience with education is a bit different than those in my cohort at Azusa Pacific University. I was motivated to begin my studies at Azusa Pacific after completing my degree in Child and Adolescent Studies at California State University, Fullerton. I knew that I wanted to continue my journey in the field of education, but wanted to expand my opportunities. One catalyst for completing my master's is to achieve my dream of teaching teachers at the college level. With the flexible hours and convenient class schedules, Azusa Pacific has made it possible for me to keep my job and complete my credentials and master's degree in a short amount of time. Since enrolling at Azusa Pacific, I have discovered many strengths within myself. EDUC 522, Learning in the 21st Century, taught me about multiple intelligences. My personal learning style is visual spatial, and as is natural, I have tended to teach through this perspective. EDUC 522 helped guide me to a more comprehensive understanding of learner needs and differences. I have discovered the significant impact of technology-enhanced instruction, and it has been exciting to see my students reach new levels of engagement. I have also realized that I possess a unique talent for developing curriculum, and through the courses at APU, I have found new ways to organize and showcase my abilities in a powerful and visually impressive way. I have done this through the use of a website which I use in my classroom on a daily basis and serves as an e-portfolio for future job prospects. I work well under pressure and have known this for quite some time. The quarter system at APU was another drawing factor for me because I knew that there would be no time to procrastinate. The many seemingly tedious assignments kept me on my toes between larger project work. I have learned how to better manage my time between a full-time teaching job, home life, friends, and family. The personal connections I have made are the most valuable of all intangible benefits that have come from my experience at APU. I have found within my cohort lifelong friendships. It is comforting to know that I attend class with peers who are seeking a stellar education as well as a relationship with Jesus Christ. A small group of us attend church together on the weekend and have created a supportive study group for the more challenging and time-consuming assignments. My new friends have been my strength through this exciting educational journey of ups and downs. They were there for me during exciting times like passing my first TPA, and supported me through a most difficult time in December when I lost my brother. Truly, the friendships I have made at APU will last a lifetime. My experiences during the past year at APU have opened room in my life for God to begin amazing work. Since the passing of my brother, I have felt the drive and freedom to live my life in His will. Life is too precious to live only for ourselves, scrambling in the dark. God has created a passion within me to explore His creation and live for His people. I am at a stage right now where I am ready to do and be wherever God wants me to be. My husband and I have sold all of our furniture and moved in with family in preparation for whatever God calls us to do. One thing we both really felt a calling for was India. In December, we went on a 2-week mission trip to southern India with our church. We planned a vacation Bible school for the orphans in the area, and we were working with lepers, the elderly, and girls in the red light district. It was an emotional, spiritual, and growing experience for both of us. When I complete my master's degree, we plan on looking for opportunities abroad. I don't really know what that means at the moment, whether it's teaching at an international school, missionary school, Department of Defense, or an embassy school. My action research project is going to help guide the way, but ultimately we plan on going wherever God calls us. When I first began teaching, I wholeheartedly believed in the use of developmental approaches only. I had a few key phrases in which I taught by: exploration, observation, student-centered, and developmentally appropriate. The problem was that I didn't know how to implement developmental philosophies into the classroom appropriately. Yes, the students were having fun, and their experiences looked rich and integrated, but not all students were intuitive enough to just soak up each lesson objective. And I must say that not all of my students came out as prepared as they could have been. During my coursework at APU, I have learned a few new phrase words: direct, systematic, integrated instruction. My professors have taught me how to assess students and target my instruction to their individual needs. And because I work at a private school, I am able to continue teaching with a developmental flair while still integrating other approaches to support my individual students' learning. My boss has noticed the improvements I have made within my classroom curriculum and has seen the wonderful progress my students have been making since I began my education at Azusa Pacific University. She is thoroughly impressed with the videos I have made for the classroom and the school, which I have learned about in EDUC 514. She also has said that she loves the website that I created in EDUC 515 with Jeff McKendricks, which I use to keep in touch with parents, post assignments, schedules, photos from the class, supplemental activities, and websites. Early this year, my boss approached me and asked if I would be willing to develop curriculum for each classroom at the school. I feel that without my support system and education that came from APU, I would not feel qualified or prepared for this undertaking. But because I have learned how to effectively plan not only lessons, but longer, more integrated units in EDUC 522, I accepted the offer and I will begin my work in January when I am finished with my master's at APU. I am so excited for this opportunity to further develop my skill set, not to mention it will look great on my resume. I feel more confident to compete in this difficult job market now that I have technological skills. Prior to my application to this program, I did not feel optimistic of success in a master's level class. I preferred to create things with pen and paper because I wanted them to look a certain way yet lacked the skills to accomplish the task on the computer. Through the courses at APU, I have gained both very basic skills and far advanced technological skills that will benefit me in my career down the road. I learned how to maximize the potential of a Word document by using tabs, the drawing tool, and other formatting options. I used many of these different tools to complete my resume, which I feel stands out in this competitive market. I have also learned how to shoot and edit videos that can be integrated into the curriculum to maximize student engagement of all learning styles. Podcasts and vodcasts are another essential tool that, prior to EDUC 515, I had never heard of. I use vodcasts on a regular basis in the classroom to introduce a new topic or culminate a unit. I find that the integration of these digital mediums are an integral part of education in this new generation. And as I look back on the experiences I have been blessed with so far in my life, I feel fortunate to have what I consider a head start in the field of education. I have 5 years under my teaching belt, a bachelor's degree, and a soon-to-be master's degree in educational technology from Azusa Pacific. But even with those milestones behind me, I understand that this is a changing world, and with that comes the responsibility to stay up to date with the new technological advancements of the day. I plan to keep informed through the use of online forums and tutorials, as well as sporadically enrolling in relevant courses. Thank you, APU, for giving me a head start in my career. Throughout this unit, you will learn about Ireland through the eyes of an artist. As an initiating activity for Lesson 1, the students will watch a video introducing them to Ireland in St. Patrick's Day. The teacher will then ask follow-up questions on the video and create a KWL chart. Students will give input on what they know about Ireland, what they want to know about Ireland, and throughout the unit, the teacher will add to the chart about what the students have learned of Ireland. Throughout the unit, the students will practice and learn the St. Patrick's Day Readers Theatre script. They will also learn the art of Irish step dancing and traditional Irish music. Lesson number 2 begins with the introduction of a masterpiece painting by Mary O'Rourke Mariotto, entitled Irish Landscape. For the science portion of this lesson, the students will study Irish landscapes and plant their own grass in potting soil. For math, the students will create a grass growth chart and predict the growth of their grass over the next 2 weeks. As a result of this social studies lesson, students will be able to understand how people lived in Ireland and how their lives were different to our lives today. For example, getting water from a well and growing food and making clothing. The following is an example of how we will introduce Irish landscapes to the students, as well as an example of the art activity for Lesson 1. Ireland's landscapes are many shades of green. Along the flowing, lush countryside, your eyes are filled with green. As you peer out on the horizon, you experience an ever-changing array of hues, beginning with bright, bold greens, sunlit yellows, to darker, more dull shades. Ireland's landscapes are composed of different types of grass and clovers, or as the Irish call them, shamrocks. You will also see sheep grazing on the lush hillsides, ancient Celtic castles, endless stone walls, and let's not forget Ireland's infamous cloudy skies. Now that you've learned all there is to know about Irish landscapes, let's create our own. Begin by tearing a big hill out of a dark, dull shade of green. Place it on a paper where you'd like it to be, and start with your next shade. You'll tear smaller and smaller hills with the different shades of green that you have in front of you. Place each piece where you would like it to go, making sure that none of the hills are floating in the sky. Remember to save bright, bold colors for the smaller hills in the foreground. As you continue to tear, the hills should be getting smaller and smaller. Place the hills where you want them to be, and carefully flip over your paper, trying to keep the hills right where you want them. Now we begin gluing. You're going to glue each piece just how they are presented in front of you. Starting with the biggest, glue it where you want it, and move to the second biggest, the third, and finally to the smallest piece of paper. Don't forget the clouds. Remember, Ireland has really cloudy, gloomy skies. Next, if you wish, you can add a castle or two on the top of the hillsides. And what do you think this white thing is in the grass? You're right, it's a sheep, just like the sheep we see on the hills of Ireland. Finally, don't forget to sign your artwork. Artists always sign their name. Have fun, and may the luck of the Irish be with you. We will continue with this unit studying math, science, social studies, and literature through masterpiece paintings of Ireland. There is also a fun and interactive web quest, as well as a culminating St. Paddy's Day party where the students will perform their Reader's Theater and Irish dancing.